What's more American than a man drinking a beer? I'll tell you. A man eating meatloaf. But yeah, I know everybody's like, oh, Warcourse meatloaf. It's kind of plain Jane and not a lot of variety there. Bullshit. If you can think of 1,000 ways to do a fucking burger, you can think of 1,000 ways to do fucking meatloaf. Remember, they're the same goddamn meat. Ground beef. So I'm going to show you one of my favorite ways to do meatloaf. Really fucking simple. You should not have a single fucking problem. This is my recipe for fried onion meatloaf.
Okay, how I start this particular meatloaf off is you get about 3 pounds of ground beef. I'm using a nice 80-20. That's a good mix for everything. And you want to add 2 packs of Lipton soup mix to it, preferably the beefy kind. At least that's just what I use. But you can use whatever soup mix you like. And if you want to tag me for, oh, you're not, it's not organic because you're using Lipton's products, and blah, 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 blah. Shut up. This is better than fucking going down the frozen aisle and getting a frozen meatloaf. Anyway, you want to work this, work the soup mix into that meat. I am of the mind of not really worrying too much about overworking meat. So when it's all mixed, I'll show you the next step. Okay, for this, you want to get a meatloaf pan out. Now, a meatloaf pan is basically 2 pans in one. The top one has holes in it, so all the grease drips down into the bottom pan. And when you pull your meatloaf out, it's not surrounded by a pool of grease. You can find these pretty much anywhere. I picked mine up at my local Target for, I think, like $11, so really inexpensive. And if you're going to make meatloaf, you really, really should have one. Like I said, $11. Everybody's got $11. So after you kind of put this meatloaf and cram it in there all nice, trying to get it in every corner and as smushed down as you can, you're going to want to add some ketchup to it. Now, you can use whatever type you like, but for this particular recipe, I like using some ketchup. Now, before we put this in the oven, I would like us to have a moment of silence, because PETA wants me to remember the fucking cow that gave its life so I could have delicious meatloaf.
And now, a moment of silence for the cows that gave their lives for this meatloaf. Why did we become? Just because I want some fucking deliciousness. Betsy, that worthless fucking shit-eating cow has to die. Truly, we're the savages.
Okay, you want to keep this meatloaf in there until it reaches 165. It should take a couple of hours, but might be more, might be less, depending on your oven. So I can't really give an exact time. But after it's reached 165, you want to pile on some French's fried onions. This will give a nice crisp crunch when you bite into this here meatloaf. And because everything is better with cheese, you want to sprinkle some good old cheddar cheese on the top of this, and then it's back into the oven for about 5-10 minutes to, kind of melt that cheese. So this is what you should have when your meatloaf's nice and done and ready to eat.
And there you have it. Simple, nice, easy fried onion meatloaf. Easy as 1, 2, 3.